Hi, this is Nancy with Life's Blessings. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the science curriculum that we will be using for our pre-K and first grader this year. This is the ACSI Purposeful Design Science Level 1, which is the first grade edition, and this is the second edition. This is your student book. I did not order the teacher manual. Some people say that teacher manuals are necessary in order to teach the material, but I haven't found that to be true. For me, it's much easier to just go through the student book, and what I do is read the lesson at least one day in advance. That way I can come up with questions and whatnot for the children to do, any extra activities that I would like for them to do to make the lessons last a little longer or to be more thorough. Which this book does have projects for us to do. It has questions and everything. So that will make my job a lot easier since there are already experiments here. And I will probably just be making copies of a lot of this, that way I can resell this book later on. I will make copies of the things that I want to make copies of and maybe just write down some of the questions. That way there are no marks in the book. You can write in the book. These pages are perforated, so they are easy to tear out if you would like to use this as a workbook, but since I will be using this with both of my children, I will probably just write the questions down, show them the questions in the book, maybe ask some orally. This is a journal about a mammal that will be good for my first grader to do, but not so much for my pre-K student. She would enjoy maybe coloring and doing some dot to dots. And she would also enjoy the experiments with us. Now this is a Christian-based science program, so there's a lot of mention of God designed. So if you're not a Christian or you don't want to incorporate the Christian values into your homeschool, then this is not the curriculum for you. But if you are a Christian, then this would be perfect, regardless of your denomination, because there isn't any talk that I have found going one way or the other. It's just pretty straightforward. Okay, so it does begin to get a little more complicated as we go into page 40s, into the 40s. It gets a little more complicated. Dulcie would enjoy coloring that that butterfly. My brain is not working this morning. Talk about insects. We talked a lot about insects last year and animals just in general. So we'll just be continuing our study. We used Abeka last year. We went through the first grade of Abeka last year, but the ACSI seems to be a bit more thorough than what Abeka was, so I think we'll do better with this curriculum. Abeka just seemed to skim over things, but there are so many more activities in this book, even though the lessons are still just 1 to 2 pages. So see, that's just 2 pages for 5.6. And as we go into the study on magnets and things like that, I will be buying extra kits to do different experiments. And I may do that with some of the other lessons. And we may skip around. We may do different lessons at different times, like the seasons. That's always fun to do in the fall time, so you can do leaves and at their age, you could take a piece of paper and cover a leaf and, use a crayon and color over that. We learn about temperature. We learn about rainfall. Space. We touched on that last year. It'll be fun to go more in depth this year now that they have more, a higher learning capacity. We can go more in depth with space. That will be awesome to do that. I have some extra books that we'll be using, some supplements that we'll be using for our science as well. And I've done a lot of videos on that, so if you haven't checked those out, we'll be using the Usborne and the DK I Wonder series to supplement our science this year. So, talk about teeth. Fun. Bones and muscles. Foods. We've already talked about the main food groups. I like to discuss that with my children so that we can make healthy choices as a family. And so we're going to learn about how all those things help your body to function, how your blood flows through the blood vessels, and the blood carries things the body needs to live. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to share this information with our kids and to see how they take it. And it's always fun to see their reactions, Again, we have a little bit of Bible verses here. Kids are so funny with how they absorb the information, and they have their own opinions. They have their own feelings about everything that we tell them. So it's always fun for me to hear their ideas and get their different opinions and to hear the questions that they have. And I try to answer their questions to the best of my ability. I'm not the best at answering science questions, but and my little boy is more advanced with science. I can see that that's one of his favorite subjects. Math and science are his favorites. So he has asked me some pretty tough questions in the last year, especially for his size. But something that I'll share with you for any other mamas that are struggling in that area, that maybe your child is asking questions that are above and beyond and you don't really know how to answer it because they're still small. But you do want to give them an answer. The library is a wonderful, wonderful resource. I remember last year my son asked me, how did electricity work? And guys, I don't know. I know that I flip on the light switch, okay, and the light comes on. That's pretty much it. And I asked my husband to explain it to him, and he's like, okay, I can explain it in Spanish, but I don't know about English. I'm not sure. So I went to the library and I whispered to the librarian, he wants to know about electricity, help. She just laughed. She said, come on. And she brought me to the right resources. So if you're having any trouble whatsoever in science, I encourage you, go to your local library and just ask the librarian. I'm sure you won't be the first one to ask questions. That's what they're there for. So this is ACSI Purposeful Design Science Level 1, 2nd edition, and this is the student version, the student workbook. Workbook/textbook, because your text is included there, and then you have your questions, your activities, and everything all in one. And I bought this from christianbook.com, and I got a great deal on it. So I highly recommend christianbook.com if you haven't visited them. It's a wonderful place to get resources for homeschool. And just because the name Christian is in the website, it doesn't mean that every single one of their homeschool resources are going to be Christian. So even if you're a secular family, you can still go there and see what they have to offer. A lot of times they'll have a little footnote telling you that, this is not from a Christian viewpoint, and then that would be a great option for you if you are secular. So for us Christian families, it's our number one go-to, I think. So I hope this has been a blessing to you. I hope you've enjoyed our little flip through. I always enjoy these before I purchase items, because who wants to pay $20 or $30 for something and you don't even know what's in it? So it's always fun to see those for me. I hope you enjoyed, and if you enjoyed this kind of video, then give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, because that's what we're all about. We're a Christian homeschooling family who shares flip-throughs, reviews, and advice on homeschool, as well as grocery hauls, Dollar Tree hauls, etc., etc. So check out our channel and give us a thumbs up for this video, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us, and share if you think this would be helpful to someone else that you know that is considering homeschool or that is actually homeschooling. God bless. Have a great day.